Welcome back to Chamber Exchange, a TV show. I want to thank our sponsors who help make the show happen. Bank Hometown and the Worcester Railers Hockey Club. The Railers have started their season, so get down to the DCU Center and watch some great pro and family-friendly hockey. We're just really thrilled to have in this segment the founder and CEO of a Sneakerhead's Paradise, Nazir Elskari. And Nazir, we were talking before we teamed up about sneakers and history, but a Sneakerhead Paradise, why don't you tell us how you got that name and what your business is?
All right, so a Sneakerhead's Paradise is a unique request-based online platform that aims to provide highly sought-after sneakers at affordable prices to customers that really want them. And so the issue that I found in reselling sneakers is that a lot of people have a hard time negotiating and getting the right price for their sneakers because they don't have any leverage. And so I really wanted to help people like that get the sneakers that they really loved at prices they can actually afford. And so I created the name of Sneakerhead's Paradise because I was like, I want a place where any type of sneakerhead feels like they can get the shoe that they want at a price they can afford without having to compromise on that. And so that's why I came up with the name.
And for people who may not be fully aware, the whole sneaker resale market has become a huge industry in and of itself. And, you know, I have 16 and 15-year-old daughters, and some of their friends and my nieces and nephew. I mean, this is a whole industry that has exploded, and you're in the middle of it here in Worcester.
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, sneaker reselling probably about 5 to 6 years ago was not as big as it is now. I remember going to like local events back home in Kansas City, Missouri, and there only being about, 100 to 150 people. And now they have, worldwide events that have over millions of people in there. And so it's amazing to see how the market on the secondary aspect has expanded so much.
And so people are looking for, specific, brands and nostalgia and throwbacks and different designs and custom shoes. What's generated this kind of whole interest?
Yeah, and I think you said it with nostalgia. I think it really started with, icons like your Michael Jordans and your Magic Johnsons, as we were talking about before, really inspiring a new generation of athletes and fans who wanted to support their athletes. Once basketball became this mainstream thing, couple that with hip hop, you start to see fashion get involved and everybody wanted to be like their favorite role models. And so that was a big part of, why sneakers took off. And then once the older generation kind of got sneakers and, taught their children to kind of love them and aspire to be like the athletes that they once knew, you started seeing younger people get into sneakers. And then, that's why people get into the older versions. And now it inspires a whole new generation of not only athletes, but artists who design the sneakers, and people just go crazy for them. And so it's really awesome.
And so, when people talk about, you dress and making statements and what, sneakers are as, part of that now as anything.
Yeah. I used to tell people sneakers are equivalent to like my purse. Like it has to match my outfit. It has to, have the right colors in it, to really give that statement that, this is me. It puts individuality over the top. So I love it.
It's, not simply just kind of young people either.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about, Bob Kraft and his custom Nikes that he wears with his suits. I mean, this has become multi-generational and touching a lot of people.
Definitely. And it's amazing to see that the older generation is kind of getting in touch with it. I know there was a moment where it's like, oh, we're too old to rock sneakers. And so it's awesome to see kind of everybody flocking back to that. And like, I remember I had these as a kid. I can't believe they still release these. And, to see the age gap being bridged by fashion is a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Well, partly probably because COVID too, comfort is king. But so how do people access your platform, your store? How tell us about that?
Yeah, so as I said before, we're an online platform. It's www.aspsneakers.com. So what you would do is you would sign up, become a member. You would choose one of our 4 plans that work with a multitude of budgets. And from there, all you have to do is go on our dashboard, request whatever sneakers you want. And if they fit within the budget that you've constrained for yourself, we'll make sure that we get them at prices that are below market.
So we were, I was dating myself as we were talking before, but, I remember one of the great, rivalries in basketball and perhaps one of the rivalries that elevated professional basketball to a whole new level was Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, and they both wore the same shoe, the Converse Weapons.
Yeah, and that's where you see like the sneaker market evolve so much. Now it's like these athletes don't have to share the same model. they may be with the same brand, but now they get to put their own touch and their own stories into these sneakers. And I think that that's also pushed a big reason why fans love it so much, because when you identify with somebody so heavily and you get a piece of their story in a fashionable way, it really kind of takes things to the next level in terms of fandom.
Yeah, and not likely to change as, online and custom,
Yes.
ordering and companies respond to this kind of demand.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing we're starting to see now is kind of that mass customization. Again, as sneakers have grown within the market itself, you've also started to see independent artists create new forms of sneakers out of the models that we already know and love. And so that's the awesome part about seeing a lot of these new collabs. Also, brand collaboration is big now too.
Mm-hmm.
And so you see all types of brands that you would never think would be collabing with Nike, like Kraft. They have their macaroni sneakers, or, Hidden Valley Ranch has their own Crocs now, and different things like that. And so you're seeing all of these different people collab with sneakers and footwear, and it's really awesome to see all of these different kind of verticals come together.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, the brand and kind of causes as well. I mean, I think of Sony Michel, the former Patriots running back, who customized his cleats to I think to benefit some charitable efforts that he was leading on behalf of some of the needs in Haiti.
Exactly. And the league, really, both the NFL and the NBA really listen to their players about that, because a lot of players love to customize their sneakers to, as you say, support charities and different causes and things like that. And for a long time, the league said, no, you can only have your team colors. But again, as sneakers started to rise and become more popular, and the brands themselves that the league were partnered with, they were like, hey, this is free advertising for us too. And so it's kind of nice to see that expand the market.
Yeah, I remember talking to Bob Cousy, about the sneaker stuff, and he would talk about that the Celtics would issue, him, Bill Russell, whatever their Converse high tops, or their, and that would be 1 or 2 for the season.
Yeah.
And that Red Auerbach chose black because they wouldn't get dirty.
Yeah.
Or they would get dirty, you couldn't see it.
Yeah, exactly.
So the Celtics for a year went black, but we've come a long way now, because now every game players sometimes have a new shoe for every game.
Some players have 4 shoes for one game. So I've seen players, go in the locker room, change their shoes, come back out, and people are like, he has a different pair of shoes on. And so it's just amazing to see that, that's more commonplace now. And, of course, it's always been a comfort thing, but it seems that, everybody has come together and be like, the fashion of it. We understand the fashion of it now and the individuality that speaks to, and that's also important to people.
Yeah, the convergence of making sure that you've got a shoe that's comfortable, that facilitates maximum performance, but at the same time it can be a statement in terms of style, brand, or cause.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, this has been a great segment. Again, I want to give you if someone wants to go on the platform, Nazir, tell us.
Yeah, so you can find us on social media at ASP Sneakers, and that's also the URL for our website, www.aspsneakers.com.
Nazir Alskari, from the CEO of Sneakerhead's Paradise. Thanks for giving us and our viewers an insight into this new fast-growing industry that everyone can relate to, because most everyone's got a pair of sneakers.
Definitely,
right.
definitely. Thank you.
Come back, and we'll be here with our final segment of Chamber Exchange, the TV show.
These days, you've got your hands full in life. That's why we help you bank simply and securely with tools like Face ID and Touch ID. It's why we make it easy to make purchases on the go and get cash back while you're at it. Why we help you quickly deposit checks wherever you are. And it's why we lend a hand with sending and receiving money right from your phone. So even when you're on the move, you can manage your finances. Bank Hometown. Unlock your potential.
Being associated with the Railers and being a part has been awesome, and it's been a lot of fun.
I think my students' initial reactions is my favorite part. Their eyes get really wide and they're in awe.
And then you have the excitement of hockey, and you have that anticipation in the air, the crowd getting into it. It's fun.